What's up, Ray? What's up, Ray King TV fam? It's your boy Ray. I'm back today. I have another video for y'all, and today is gonna be more a video of a story time. The time that I got cheated on. But this, mind you, this is just me telling my little story. You know, everything is good over here. But I just want to give y'all a story time because I thought it would be dope to, you know, talk about it. Maybe, I don't know, motivate somebody to see it, encourage somebody else. If not the same thing happened to you, something similar could have happened. So that's basically what this video is basically gonna be about. So let's hop straight into the video. So this story I'm gonna tell y'all about was a time this happened in where I met somebody in 2017. And when I met this person was cool or whatever. But over time, I started seeing like red flags, like certain red flags that I'm just like, you know, not even that red flags that I didn't like, but like just certain like little red flags. I'm like, nah, they don't look too right. Something is off. You know what I'm saying? I've heard of something, heard like anything negative about the person is the time where this was, mind you, still early on when we had first met. Everything was still early on. We're gonna say the person name is Nisha. The person that I'm talking about, the person that I was dating at the time was Nisha. Messed up in the sense of, you know, in the beginning, you know, thinking that people are just, don't ever go into a situation thinking just because y'all dating or you talking to somebody that they're not fucking other people. And that's why I messed up at. Like, so mind you, so basically it was a point of time where Nisha, this where everything hit the fan. It was a point in time where, like I said, I've been noticing like little small red flags, but it was a time where the chick that we was cool with at work, because we were all co-workers, so the chick, we gonna call her Alicia. Alicia was a friend of ours through work. And Alicia just kept asking me one day, like, do you want to marry Nisha? And over time it became like, why you keep asking me these questions? Like, what are you trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Because mind you, I don't fucking know what you're trying to say, until it kept happening every so often, every time, every day, a couple of weeks. You know, we'll see each other in the break room and she'll be like, oh, y'all still together? To the fucking, get to the point. What you trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm starting to feel some weird vibes, you know. Not, it was nothing that was like that was like just chill or whatever, but I started to get some weird vibes from that. So I'm asking her, like, what you mean? Mind you, before Alicia even told me, Alicia is the friend that we used to work with. Before Alicia told me what had happened, Alicia basically, what is he doing? Go lay down. My bad. Alicia and Nisha had got into it one night when we was chilling at Nisha's house for her birthday. Mind you, it's Nisha's birthday, and Alicia came over there. Alicia bought some money and a card for her, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a drink. So I'm thinking they cool, you know, because we all cool. We all took a trip together and everything. But when Alicia came over there, Nisha was like,
nah, because I really don't trust you, such and such. And
them two going back and forth and stuff like that out of nowhere. So I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm like, we all cool. So now I'm pissed off because I'm feeling like Nisha doing way too much. So I leaves because I'm like, that shit fucked up. Like, Alicia really here trying to be cool with you and you doing the most. And Nisha just basically like, I feel like she such and such. I feel like
she's a whore, she's this, she's that, and I feel like she gonna try to fuck you or whatever. You know,
and I'm like, I'm first of all, I'm not the type of person. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't groove me into try to like, nah, I'm not like that. Needless to say, that's basically what the conversation was about, and that's basically what had happened. So mind you, let's go back to what I was saying. Like, at lunch break, it just came a time where Alicia, because at that time Nisha had got fired from where all of us used to work. So Alicia basically sat down and she was telling me, she was like, yeah, you know, she fucked Patty. You know, she fucked such and such, you know.
And I'm like, what?
And mind you, Patty is somebody who used to work with us. Patty used to work in security. Like, Patty used to work with us. We were cool. Addie worked in valet. So basically when that had took place, I just was astounded. I got taken back because it came upon a time where I had asked Nisha, like, before anything had happened, I'm like, Nisha, did y'all actually do y'all big one? Like, did y'all, you know what I'm saying? And Nisha kept saying,
No, we did not smash.
so I'm thinking, okay, since y'all didn't smash, why is such and such, you know? And I called Nisha immediately when I was at work. You know, I'm finding out all these things, and it just was like, at that moment in time, the first thing came to my mind was like, if somebody happened in bed like that with people, you know what I'm saying? And when you gonna think about me? When you gonna think about my sexual safety? Like, if you gonna do your thing responsibly, but at the same time, don't drag me in it, you know? So I just felt, around that time, it started going to a darker period at a time in my life. So I'm dealing with all of this. I'm hearing all of this. We going back and forth and stuff like that on the phone. She's telling me, you know,
Oh, we'll talk about it when you get off.
I'm like, no, talk about it now.
all that work, I'm upset, I'm on the phone. I just remember people was looking at me. At the end of the day, I just felt like, damn, like I asked you at one point and you lied to me. But Nisha claimed at that time, when I asked, it didn't happen. But since I asked about it, you mean to tell me it happened after I asked? That's crazy to me. But anyway, so after that, there was a moment in time where things started getting a little even rougher, like a rougher patch, you know. Around that same time, that night after that happened, after Alicia told me about everything that happened that Nisha had did. And mind you, I feel like Alicia only told me that because her and Nisha had got into it the previous night before. You know, that's why, you know, they had wind up getting into it or whatever. So I prefer Alicia had told me before them two had got into it, but since it didn't happen, it is what it is. But mine just tell you, that night, I went over there. I think, matter of fact, that night I didn't go over there. That morning, I went over there by Nisha's house, and I chilled with Nisha or whatever. And Nisha started telling me, I'm listening to everything Nisha's saying. I'm you know, I'm vibing with it. I'm fucking with it. So I'm like, you know, what's going on? What happened? So Nisha starts telling me that, you know,
Yes, the things that Alicia said she did, that she did.
Probably was never gonna tell me until I found out. On top of that, Nisha looks at me and tells me that it's more than what Alicia told me. So I'm like, okay, fuck, like I gotta go back, you know, because I'm thinking this is we going into something real, we getting there. So all this time, it never dawned on me. I never thought about like stop talking to this person. Well, I've had moments where I'm like, nah, I'm good on you. I'm not fucking with that or whatever. But it was just crazy for me to hear. So Nisha starts telling me things about what had happened, and Nisha basically like, you know,
Yeah, I did that, but on top of that, I slept with a Mexican. And
Like, okay, you slept with a Mexican and what?
And she was like, he didn't speak English.
She was basically telling me that he gave her $200, and I was like, wow. So Nisha basically talked to him through a Google translator. But like I said, mind you, there's two people I know about now, Patty and the Mexican. So I'm asking him, like, what made you do that? Like, what made you sleep with this? Like, why? You know, and you talking to me, what's the purpose?
Oh, well, you know, it's just something that I had wanted to do, and, you know, it have nothing to do with
you. And I'm like, okay, but I understand that. But at the end of the day, there are certain things where, like, there are boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like moving into a relationship, even though we was talking heavy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm finding out all this stuff now at the last minute, and it just was, at that time, I looked at it like, damn, you motherfuckers be scandalous. Like, I would have never thought, you know, I would have never thought like shit like that could, like, I know people do some fuck shit. I know shit like that happen all the time. So like this, it's
not really a surprise. Like it.
But yeah, after that, you know, I was so upset with Nisha. I didn't talk to Nisha for a while, like maybe like a week or two. I was not answering my phone. I went home to I went back to my mama's house. And it came upon a time where me and Nisha, I think after I found out all that, me and Nisha moved in together. Bam. I found all that out. I was upset that whole time. Just before I decided to move in, I was upset that whole time. But once I started finding out more, I was, like I said, I went back to my mama's house and wasn't answering my phone when Nisha playing around and stuff like that until one day I was at work and I walk outside to my car. Mind you, it's black as fuck outside. I'm not answering Nisha's phone calls. I'm not doing none of that. So Nisha's standing by my car. I'm walking, I'm looking like, who the fuck is that by my car? You know, I'm looking, I'm like this, because all I see is a shadow, and I'm like, I'm not going to this fucking car. Like, who the fuck is that? So I'm walking up. As I'm walking up, I'm looking at Nisha, and Nisha just break down crying like,
You know, I should have never did what I did. I'm so sorry. Please take me. Please accept me. Please, I'm so sorry.
tears running down her eyes and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool, I forgive you. As a matter of fact, I said, just give me some time to think about it. Thought about it, bam. I feel like at that moment I kind of got over that little hump, but at the same time I really didn't. You can forgive somebody, but you'll never forget. At that time I wind up, it was a time, maybe a month after that, I wind up forgiving Nisha, moved in with Nisha, because it came a point of time where Nisha was like, this is your draw and you stay here, and I want you to stay here. And I'm like, nah, I don't stay here. But Nisha insisted on like, you stay here. So I'm like, you know, okay. So Nisha was buying me stuff way in the beginning before we even got together, like buying me, you know, just watches, like just stuff, you know, just buying me stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe Nisha really feeling me, you know. So after that came a point of time where we stayed together. Over the course of us staying together, it had to be around 2018 going to 2018. Everything was still kind of going good, but at the same time rocky, because it always was in the back of my mind. So now I know this. So now it started becoming a thing where I would typically try to get off early just to make it to the house to see if Nisha doing anything behind my back, because, you know, it felt like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, just couldn't believe the shit that I was hearing. So around that time, I'm up there making Nisha get tests, STD tests and shit like that, like these type of things and stuff like that, because I'm just like, I don't play with my life like that. Like, it's certain things, and I don't play with my sexual health, because, you know, it's real out here. You don't know these people. Nisha at that time fucked the Mexican raw and didn't really know him like that. So that was like a big thing for me, you know. That's why I couldn't grasp, and I couldn't get over the simple fact that all of this was happening. Mind you, 2018, fast forward, I kind of moved away from it. I thought I could get over it. I thought I forgave, and then I'm starting to find out some more stuff. Mind you, when I first met this person, my mama did not like this person. My mama was like, and this one thing my mama looked at me and told me, my mama said, this person gonna fuck over you. Watch and see what I tell you. That's technically what happened, you know what I'm saying, by just, you know, giving somebody a chance and wanting something to work, and you trying to see their worth and stuff like that. But, you know, that was in 2018. Mind you, after all that stuff I found out, Nisha wind up booking a trip to Vegas. That was like a sorry gift to me, you know what I'm saying. So I wind up going to Vegas. All throughout the Vegas trip, I felt uncomfortable. I was mad. I was angry. I was still not feeling right. We was getting into it on a trip. We did have a good time too at the same time, but we was getting into it, you know, and it was basically because of me. I just couldn't get over what had happened. I kept thinking about, like, all this shit is happening, like, why? Like, you know, why me? Like, you know, people decide to do certain things, and it's just like, you know, you didn't think about me when you was doing it, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I was fucked up. I ain't gonna lie, at that time I was really fucked up. So in 2019, I want to say, like towards the end of 2018, that's when the relationships just started crashing down. I'm finding more and more about this person, Nisha. So I'm finding more about this person, and all of a sudden I'm finding out that, so at this time we going back and forth. Let's scratch that. We going back and forth, like we bumping heads and everything. Like, we going back and forth. It's a lot of shit that's going on throughout the time of me staying there. It was one of the darkest times of my life. I found out some news. It was just a lot, you know, that I was dealing with. something that I just wouldn't have never thought that would have happened. You know what I'm saying? And it was like a big slap to my face. At that time, I was just so angry. So we was just going at it like every day, if not every other day. It got to a point where, you know, I stopped sleeping upstairs. I would sleep downstairs. I didn't have sex with Nisha for about 6 months. I was just, first of all, I was scared because I kind of know how you is. You kind of go out there and do your thing without no repercussions. Don't use no protection, you know. And my thing is, like, how could you go out there and like not think about me? Like, that's the least you could do, right? Like, you know, like what made you, you know, what at that time, what made this person decide to do something like that to me? Because I'm not that type of person. It happened. It just was a dark time for me. Everything I wore, everything was black. My clothes was black. Everything I wore, and I noticed that everything was dark. I was angry at that time for the cards I was dealt because I felt like it wasn't fair to me. So, you know, like I said, it happened at that time, and the relationship started. I noticed it was so rocky and I was so depressed and kept getting into it. The energy in the house was heavy. I even bought a sage stick too, and I was walking around there like something is not right. Something spiritually is off. Something is not right. That still didn't help. It seemed like the more that person had got agitated, and I'm like, okay, so now it's time for me to go. So mind you, I packed all my stuff. I took all my stuff out the apartment. I went back to my mom's house. Didn't want to sell my mom's house. It was a lot of shit going on, like not with my mom, but with me. I would drink a lot. I would be out going to the casino, blowing money, and it just was a lot. It was a rough patch at that time for me. And so I wound up moving out the apartment, took all my stuff. Mind you, we were supposed to be working on a relationship. I was supposed to be over here by my mom's house, and I let Nisha keep the apartment or whatever. But mind you, Nisha asked me to move out, either because my name was on the lease as well. So Nisha asked me either I move out or Nisha was gonna move out. And I was like, you know what, you could just have it. So I just took all my stuff, went by my mama's house, and we were supposed to be working on the relationship. But I feel like that's when the realness really came out, like everything that I was suspecting. Because when I was in the house, you know, Nisha made this, the time I look at it now as like it's an excuse, but Nisha made this excuse, like, you know, because Nisha was coming in late, you know, not coming into 3 and 4 in the morning. I'm looking out the window downstairs to see if the car out there, and Nisha telling me, oh, I've been out here. And I'm like, no, you wasn't. And, you know, then Nisha got a new job at that time. I want to say in 2018, Nisha wind up meeting somebody, a job that I didn't know of. So the whole time that was going on, Nisha was telling me that her new supervisor was buying them drinks, and he treating everybody, and I'm just believing. I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's dope. You know, I think that's dope. All right, enjoy yourself. But the whole time that wasn't the case. So that wasn't the case at the time. So I don't want this video to be too long. So at that time, like I said, fast forward back, I wound up moving out the house because I was dealing with all that. And looking back, it was a red flag that I never noticed at the time, because Nisha came there with some flowers one time. And I asked Nisha, I'm like, Nisha, who these flowers for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my dad or somebody had bought, I think Nisha was telling me somebody had bought the flowers. I don't know if it was Nisha dad or whatever, whatnot. But Nisha kept saying somebody had bought the flowers for her. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool if your daddy or somebody had bought the flowers. I just found it kind of weird. And then Nisha started wearing this bag all the time. Nisha started smoking weed, doing things out the norm that Nisha normally wouldn't do. So I'm by my mama's house. Nisha's over there. Nisha wanted me to move out. I gave Nisha a key. I gave her the key that we had both got, but Nisha didn't know or didn't realize that I had the original key to the apartment. We had got these keys with the little light on there. Nisha had a red one, I had a blue one, and these little keys with the light on there. And I wound up giving Nisha that key back to give to her brother because her brother had moved in. When that happened, it was a day, I think, before I even moved back in my mom and her house. I want to say when I was actually chilling, laying on a sofa. It was a morning. I never forget. I had just got off from work because I had found me another job doing just little security work. I had just got off, and Nisha's brother was actually sitting by the sofa, and he was eating. He was eating something. He's like, "Brother, you want a piece or whatever?" And I'm like, "I'm good." And I started asking him questions or whatever. I'm like, okay, because her brother worked at the same place that she had recently got hired at. It's been like she was there for like, I remember about 2 months now, maybe 3 of that. And I asked the brother, and the brother was telling me like basically, yeah, brother, she is talking to somebody else, and he actually is a chef over there at the place. And I'm like, wow, I'm just astounded. I'm like, this shit is crazy. It kind of like when he told me that and he topped it off, and I remember he was talking and he was like, yeah,
my mom and them think Nisha is an angel and shit like that, and she'll never do nothing like that, but it's the complete opposite.
And I'm just like, wow. I'm sitting there and I'm just fucking flabbergasted at the simple fucking fact of Nisha really was doing this shit, and it was like, wow. Throughout the relationship, it was red flags, and I just never forget I had asked Nisha at a certain time when I was still in the house. Just lose me backtracking again, I'm trying to think of everything. When I asked Nisha at the time when I was still living in the house, I had asked Nisha, I'm like, if you had a choice to redo your decisions all over again, would you redo your decisions and not do with the things that you did? And Nisha was like, nah, I still do it, with a smirk on her face. Like at that time, I'm just like, wow. Like it just at that time I felt like that was like a narcissistic kind of tactic, and I'm just like, wow, like it was just crazy. So mind you, fast forward, once her brother told me that, I wind up yeah, that's when I had wind up, just because I was back and forth between my mom. That's before I had actually came by my mom and them house. Mind you, it was a hard time for me. So Nisha wind up, but like I said, I gave Nisha the key. That it was a red key, I mean a blue key that I had gave Nisha the key. And basically I had the original key. Nisha didn't know I still had the original key, but it was a night where as I had the little dog. It was a dog that she had bought me. Still got him, still blessed to have him to this day, but it was a dog she had bought me at that time, and I wanted to go over there so she can see the dog and stuff like that. So I had wind up going over there, went over there, showed Nisha, I wanted to show Nisha the dog, went over there by the house. I knocked on the door, nobody answered the phone. I mean, nobody answered the door. So I'm thinking either her brother in there, somebody in there, like somebody answered the door, nobody was in there. So I got curious, I don't know what it was, something told me to just go in the apartment. So I had the original key, and I decided to take the original key and go in the apartment. I'm looking around, nothing seems odd or different. So then I wind up going upstairs. Something told me to go upstairs, so I zoomed upstairs. When I tell y'all, this was literally like an infidelity movie scene, like a couple that's going through. I felt like I was in a movie at that time. So, like I said, still to this day, I don't think Nisha know that I've been back in that apartment, that I had went in there. So I had went in there, went upstairs, and I just never forget they had this paper on the dresser, and I looked at the paper, and a person's name was on that paper. It looked like they had went got new phones, or he went got a new phone or something like that. His number was on there, everything was on there. I didn't bother calling the number. I didn't bother doing that at that time because my mindset was elsewhere. My bad. Yeah, my mindset was elsewhere, and but when I'm upstairs, like, mind you, I found that paper, I put the paper back down, but I knew the person name now, so I go look up the person on Facebook. So now I know who the person is, I know how they look, and come to find out, it was, I didn't know the dude, but I remember a while back when we was together, the person name was, when I think about it, the person name was in a text message that she had sent me. And I just will never forget, you know, at that time, I'm looking around in the room and I see some underwear. I see a dude underwear like on the bed. I see a big, like a dirty shirt. Like you could tell the dude was big. I don't know, the shirt was dirty. Looked like maybe a work after work or something like that. Shorts. I seen a couple of shirts and stuff, like actually dressed like nice shirts. Like, and then I seen like a box of condoms sitting on the chair. So I'm walking up and then you could see on the underwear, it looked like smudged semen on the underwears. And I'm just like, wow. So all this time, this is what it was. And I remember at one point in time, Nisha also made it a thing where she made it a big deal because we wasn't staying together at the time. But I just felt like, you know, okay, we working on our relationship. I'm still obligated to come in the house. My name is still on the lease. I'm still obligated to just come check on the house, check on you, see how you doing and stuff like that. But no, that's not what it was. Nisha did not want that. Nisha made it a big deal at that time that I wasn't staying there, so I should not be able to just come in as I please, which was not. I wasn't going there to lay down or eat something or you know, I wasn't going there to do that, to relax and like that. Just popping in every now and then if we still together, right? Like, and Nisha did not like that at all. So Nisha made it a big deal. That's when I wind up giving Nisha that key. I found all the dude stuff in there one day. I went in there, and after that, I just was so mad. I was so angry. I paced back and forth outside. I just remember that night I told my mom, and at the time I had a female friend. I never forget, I told my mom and them, I said, I'm about to go by my friend house. And my mom and them was like, okay, that's cool, you know, I'll see you later, you know what. So they thinking I'm going over there by one of my female friends or whatever, but I'm going over there to that apartment. So that same night, I didn't tell my people them nothing, but it's like they knew. Like, parents know best. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, they knew. All of a sudden, I see that little blue car come flying in that little curb, and sure enough, it was them. So I'm standing outside. I'm going off. Still to this day, I don't know how they knew I was going over there. Because before I left that house, I told them, I said, I'm about to go by my friend's house. I don't know how they knew. And that night, I just remember just being out of my mind. It's like I blacked out. I wasn't myself. Like, even throughout that relationship, finding all that out, I wasn't myself. You know, I really blacked out that night. And I'm like, man, don't fucking touch me. I don't want to have nothing to do. I'm done with this. Everything. Everything. They're like, please calm down, please. I'm like, no, fuck this. Look what she did. Look what she did. And I'm showing them certain things. And I got the box of condoms in my hand. 3 of the condoms was missing. And I'm just like, man, like, and that night, it felt like I was waiting on them to pull up. You know, like that night I had it in my mind. I just seen black, you know. Looking back, I wasn't myself at all. I was not myself. Like, I know myself. And some of the things that I did then, I wouldn't have never did that, because that's not me. You know what I'm saying? But I learned a lot in the whole process of being in that relationship. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. You know what I'm saying? So for me to sum this whole story up, I just was thinking, like, you know, at that time, you know, I was thinking, like, you know, why the person didn't at least think about me? Like, at least think, like, what was you thinking when you did what you did? And I remember it came upon a time where this put the icing on the cake, and I'll let this story ride. It was a point in time where I wanted closure as to why this person did these things to me at the time, because I felt like at that time I was young, dumb, you know, trying to roll with somebody who, you know, me trying to deal with this person and deal with that person bullshit. And, you know, I really was trying, but I learned throughout the relationship, I kept saying that I had forgave Nisha, but I just couldn't let the shit go, because that's the only thing I could just imagine, you fucking somebody else. And it just wasn't, like, at that time, it just wasn't a good time for me at all. But you know, like I said, it was a time where I literally went in the house, even at that time before all of that happened. That was the tail end I just told y'all. But even before then, it was a time where I went in the house just to see Nisha. I stuck the key in the door, went in there, sat down, you know, gave Nisha a hug, we talking and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, Nisha like, I'm about to go take a shower. So Nisha gets up, Nisha goes to go take a shower. So I'm like, okay, Nisha going to take a shower. So Nisha has this book bag, and when I was actually standing in the house, Nisha had started bringing that book bag, and it had like stuff in there. I knew they had weed in there, but that particular day something told me to look in that bag, and I looked in that bag. I'm looking, found a box of condoms. 4 of the condoms was missing. So when Nisha came downstairs, I'm just sitting there with a blank look on my face, like again. That's how, at that time, that's basically how it was.
I'm like, wow.
So Nisha sit down and like, you just got a blank look on your face, like, what's wrong? Your whole demeanor changed. Of course my demeanor changed. So I had the box of condoms behind my back, and I went like this. And I was like, what is this? And Nisha tried to say that they was for her cousin and her girlfriend at the time, and come to find out that was a lie. I found that out because Nisha was actually in the background, actually like on a sofa sitting there, because I was on the phone with the cousin girlfriend, and Nisha was telling the girlfriend through the phone, like screaming through the phone, like, tell him it's for you. Like, that's what she was saying at the time. And it never dawned on me, like, this motherfucker playing games, and it just was a lot. Like, I just, you know, but I chucked that shit up, you know, it is what it is. And then after all of that, I really wanted closure. I really wanted to know why throughout this whole relationship I didn't have the closure. And I wanted to know why throughout the relationship, why you chose me out of everybody to do this to. Why? Like, damn, am like, nobody not fucking with me like that? Like, damn. And I finally got her to have a sit down. We went and sat at this place called Philly's. And Philly's is a Philly steakhouse, dope food, regular drinks. It's just like, just good Phillies, you know what I'm saying? And we sat down and we was talking and stuff like that. And I remember Nisha looking at me like, wow,
You need to eat something. Oh my God, you got so small. You look like a bobblehead. You want something to eat? You want me to...
And at that point, I honestly felt like, what's that dude named Charles from off of that movie? It's a Madea movie. Like, I honestly felt like Charles. I think that was his name. And I'm just like, what did I ever do to deserve this? There was a time where I did do my thing, but that was right after I found out the person did their thing. Because I really wanted that person to feel what I felt when they did what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I had did it. But I learned me now today, I won't ever play catch back. I won't ever play catch back. I'll just let you go. My mindset now, if I feel like, and I don't mind forgiving people, but I never forget. And I learned that I hold grudges. And I feel like certain things won't work because I do hold those grudges. You know what I'm saying? So throughout this whole story, it was red flags just everywhere. But I kind of like settled for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you know, it is what it is. You know, like, it was a lot. But looking back at that time, I was going through a lot. I lost a lot of weight. Everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, you need to eat. I couldn't sleep. Only because I just was so fucked up and so hurt. Like, how could a person do me like that? Like, how could a person put me through everything? I had to get through everything. And there was a point of time where I went cold turkey without talking to the person. And that person, within 2 to 3 months, that person called me on the phone and was like, wow, you don't know nobody no more? And I'm just like, I don't. And I hung up, click. That wasn't the person I knew. And at that time, I just kept saying that's like, to me, it was given like it was a demon or something at that time. I really kept thinking about that because throughout that time, like when I was in that apartment, I just kept having these bad fucking sleep paralysis. And it was so bad to the point where I remember before I even moved out the apartment, I called her mom on the phone, and my mother-in-law was basically like, baby, let me tell you something. You need to pray those demons off. That's demons. Call on the name of Jesus and you shall be freed. I'll never forget that. And they were coming hard at that time. And I just felt like the energy was off. That's why I had bought sage to sage the house. When I done that, it got worse. The arguing got worse. Everything got worse. So that's what prompted me to move out in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So, but that last straw was at that table, and I just was like, you know, I just gave up. I'm like, fuck it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't get over the things that I was hearing or the things that was done to me. And honestly, I learned that I hold grudges. Somebody do something to me today or tomorrow, I hold grudges. It's hard for me to let that go, hard for me to move on, because the only thing I'm gonna just imagine is you just with that other person. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I just kept thinking at that time, like, why me? Like, why do somebody like me that? Because I don't look for trouble. I never was the type of person to look for trouble. I don't like trouble. I don't do trouble. I want everything to go right, go smooth. I really don't like trouble. Like, I'm really chill. You know, anybody could talk to me about anything. And I love people who open with me. You know what I'm saying? Not hiding secrets and stuff. Just be open with me. Be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love honesty. And that's what I feel like the whole relationship, like from the very beginning, it just was off. So needless to say, I want to add this in there. People don't think about the consequences of sleeping with certain people or sleeping with somebody and not using protection or just sleeping with them. And my biggest thing was, because it happened to a lot of people, whereas somebody giving me something, that's why I was always the type of person, like, if we doing our thing and I'm linking or whatever, like, I'm gonna make sure one thing about it, I'm gonna have condoms. You know what I'm saying? So that last straw in the middle and the last straw, me finding the condoms and stuff, before Nisha didn't use condoms in the beginning of the relationship. And when I found that out, that really had me scared to the point where, okay, now I'm running to the doctor to go get tested because I don't know what the fuck I done caught. You know what I'm saying? If I hadn't caught anything, you know, I just had to go and get that test done. I just was uncomfortable. But people, this generation don't think about the consequences that come behind cheating on somebody or just doing sneaky linking without no kind of repercussion. Like, you can do your thing, especially, you know, like young people, they gonna do their thing. Like, people younger than me, they gonna do their thing. It is what it is. But at least be mindful about some of the things that you do, especially if you're already in a relationship with somebody and you decide to step out. I'm not promoting people to cheat, but if you gonna do some shit like that, think about that person. That's all I'm saying. Just think about that person, because at that time, growing up, I always was the type of person, I was always fucking scared of STDs and shit like that. Like, the shit that our teachers and shit and how I grew up, the shit that I saw was fucking mind. That shit was crazy. Some of that shit was like, wow. Like, it would be green discharges, it'd be pus bumps, it'd be everything that I didn't see when I was younger, like in my teens and doing sex ed and shit like that. And I remember teacher was talking to us and shit like that. It just was a lot. But when you doing something like that, just think about that person, because, you know, at that time, it's cool, you know, like I say, I'm good. I didn't heal from it. I didn't move on. That taught me a lot. That taught me what I wanted, what I didn't want. It taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, but just think about that. Sometime when you think about doing something, just think about that next person. Not even just the STD part, but just think about them as a person. You know, I don't agree with doing your thing while you have somebody. Like, if that's the case, if you honestly don't want to be with that person, just don't be with them. Let them know immediately when you have those feelings, like, nah, fuck that, I don't want to be with this person, I'm done. And if that's the case, just go ahead and be done. But that's enough for this story time. I'm glad I could have did that for y'all. I hope y'all like this video. Before you leave, comment, like, subscribe this video. It was another story time for y'all about the time that I had got cheated on and I didn't know. Found out, went through a lot of mess, but I still made it out on top. All right. Thank y'all. Deuces.